All right, guys, so today we're talking about the Tundra Recall, the Toyota Tundra Recall. Now, there's so many people been doing this the last few weeks. I don't know if they just didn't look up when this recall was or didn't care or what the deal was, but so many people have been doing it recently. I thought this was another recall. Like, is there another engine recall for the Tundra? But there's not. Everybody's just doing it very, very, very late. And so there was a recall, if you don't know. It affected 98,568 trucks. And what the situation was, there was actually machining debris left in the engine, little bits, and it would eventually go through the engine and destroy the engine. Now, this is on the 3.4 turbocharged V6 engine. This is not the hybrid one. This recall does not involve the hybrid one at all. This is only affects 2022 and 2023 models. And it does not affect 2024 and 2025 models at all. It seems like a lot of trucks, 98,000 trucks recalled. Considering how many they actually sold, that was not much. 230,000 of those trucks sold the non-hybrid. And nobody forced them to do the recall. They did it on their own. Now, that's a far cry from a lot of the recent Ford, Dodge, and Chevy stuff, where they've basically been forced to do the recall on engine failures, transmission failures, electronics failures, full vehicle failure. I mean, you name it, right? They've had it. I've been seeing all these people doing these recent videos. Like, this is just a big thing. I guess trying to pump the views out. I'm not really sure. But that is not the case at all. If you go buy a new Tundra today, will it have a recall? Not for this. I think there was a taillight recall. I was reading bits and pieces of that where the taillight bulb failed or something. If that's all the worst it gets, that's not too bad of a deal. And they stood behind it 100%. You know, and I was actually at a Toyota dealership this weekend talking to the sales guy. My girlfriend had bought a new RAV4. And for a small SUV in today's market, a RAV4 as good as it gets, unless you get a Lexus RX 350, or they have several other ones, you know, that size. The next down would be a Honda CR-V. You know, that's kind of the maximum. What boggles my mind, you see all these people buying these Chevy Blazers, that's about the same size. The Ford Escapes, the Ford Broncos, the Kia Hyundai stuff, that's almost the same price, or is the same price as the Toyota one. And you go drive it, and it's just failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. But the internet's full of stuff telling you that those cars will fail. I don't understand why people are buying those. I don't get it. Leave in the comments, why would you buy those other cars over this? I do not understand. So Toyota did stand by this defect for the engine failure and replaced the whole engine. Didn't try to fix anything. Didn't try to band-aid it up. As you know, for a manufacturer to have a recall that magnitude is not a good thing, and they don't want that on their record. So they did whatever they could to fix it. You know, and nothing 2024 and 2025 was affected by the recall, in a little bit even whatsoever. And just goes on to say here how everything was completely handled, and there was no further issues known. Now, when you buy a new vehicle, you're buying a new vehicle. And your aim to this is to be able to drive the damn thing without having to constantly back to the dealership. And just to show you how things are with Toyota right now, most dealers give a lifetime powertrain warranty now. I was talking to the guy at the dealership about that. And he said he's working there for so many years. 3 times they've ever had to use the lifetime powertrain warranty. That means 3 times the standard bumper to bumper is 36,000. You get 100,000 miles standard on the powertrain. And then the dealers were offering lifetime. 3 times people's brought stuff back over 100,000 miles that had a problem. 3. And this guy used to work at Nissan. He says, let me tell you what, if Nissan ever gave that warranty, they would go out of business immediately. And like he said what I was expecting the whole time. Working at Nissan, you work at a Chevy dealership, Ford, Dodge, Kia, Hyundai, any companies like that, you just don't realize how things really are in other companies until you see it firsthand. And he's like, when I came to work at Toyota, I had no idea things were the way they were. I assumed every car just broke down constantly that was new. I was like, what? He says, yeah, man, the electronics and that Nissan stuff, the engine transmission stuff is just constant. And I'm not sure how they stay in business doing all that warranty work. You know, at some point in time, you have so much warranty work that's going on. I guess you stay in business by people's cars are out of warranty, bringing it back to you. You're charging them crazy price. I don't really know. It seems crazy to me, but this is real in effect. And a lot of you guys are diehard Chevy, Ford, and Dodge people. I'm telling you right now, it's not the 80s. It's not the 70s. Buying that stuff new. If you just want to hop in a brand new car these days, in one of those cars, and drive it across the country, are you going to make it? Man, probably not. Probably not. It's an epidemic and a crisis with the unreliability of new cars anymore. And you might drive that Charger off the lot. You might drive that diesel pickup off the lot. And it might run okay for 20,000 miles. Maybe 30. Well, the diesel won't. Let's be honest here. After the AdBlue crisis and all this other crap. Engine failures, those aren't going to run long. When they have a problem, it's a problem. And you guys heard me talk about G-Wagon engines that cost $20,000 and $10,000 M5 engines, and that's nothing if you have to pay to replace a diesel engine in a truck. That's nothing. That all goes in tens of thousands of dollars in a second. And the problem is what you're replacing it with, the new engine, is not any better than what you took out of it. It was an engineering fail. If you have to buy a truck to pull a trailer, buy the Tundra. Oh, it's not big enough, everybody says. I got to have the diesel to pull. Well, the hybrid Tundra is 439 horsepower and over 400 foot-pounds of torque. What are you pulling? What kind of insanely large excavator are you pulling with a pickup that you should not be? If you can't pull it with 439 horsepower and a 410 gear ratio with a 10-speed transmission, what is it that you're trying to pull? Because it needs a semi at that point, right? I say this because I had two Toyota Sequoias, which is the Tundra. We pulled the trailer behind my first one for over 200,000 miles. I had 409,000 miles on it when I sold it. There wasn't much it wouldn't pull. There was nothing it wouldn't pull. I pulled dualies with it, all kinds of crap. Could you pull two cars with it? Yeah, of course. My second Toyota Sequoia, same way. It's lived almost its entire life with a trailer behind it. What is it that you're pulling? The answer to that, usually nothing. Most of those trucks you driving around, never a trailer behind it, or some lawnmowers on a trailer, or one car. I'm not gonna say every half ton. Even a Tacoma could pull a full car on a trailer, a heavy car on a trailer. Oh, you said, but I gotta pull two or three. You're pulling three cars with a pickup? You're pushing the limit. Will the Tundra do it? Yes. Should you do it? No. You shouldn't. If you're pulling a wedge and you're running a hot shot and you're using a dually, the wheel bearing issues, the transmission issues, the overheating issues, the just mechanical breakdown, as you guys know, is absolutely staggering. Some old man advice for me to you guys: stop buying that stuff. Because if you stop buying those American-made trucks to pull this stuff, they'll have to fix them. They only keep making that junk because you keep buying it. Does that make any sense? I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just giving you some good heartfelt advice. I've been pulling cars since the late 90s. Back then, you had to do it with Chevy pickup. Failure after failure after failure. Incorrect gearing ratios, shit transmissions, garbage. If you want to pull a truck with a car and a trailer with a 480 LE or 460 LE, go ahead. Don't say I didn't warn you when it grenades itself. And, just not the right torque at the right RPM. Everything's kind of a little wonky. But, back in the 90s, you had to do that. The first Tundras came on in 2000. The very, very, very first ones using a TUZ V8. Those older ones, you have to watch for frame rust. If they've been up north especially. Southern ones, you don't. Been up north. You buy anything up north that's now 25 years old, frame rust is a problem. Rust is a problem on anything and everything. That's some interesting advice to you guys, though. This is not a hate video on that stuff. It's a stop buying that stuff so they could fix themselves and make stuff right. Chevy, Ford, Dodge on those trucks has been right for a long time, and it's only gotten worse. And if you keep buying that stuff, it's going to be an issue. That's it. If you guys have any comments, leave them below. Let me know what you think. I feel like I'm right on the money on this. Some will agree, some won't. If you don't agree with it, maybe you should step back and take another look at things. Maybe you're looking at things wrong. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. I'm just saying, rethink what you're doing. Let's get the truck market fixed. Right now, it's an upside down mess. We live in America, and you have to buy a Japanese truck to be able to use it. Use it for hundreds of thousands of miles. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. We'll see y'all later.